Hi, my name is Heidi, and I own the store TPT, The Lesson Pony, where I publish mostly science lessons, chemistry, and middle school lessons. Today, I thought I would talk to you about the end of the year. The end of the year is always difficult. I decided to film this here today instead of the barn as I normally do. To talk about the end of the year has always been difficult. This little schoolhouse was built in the 1798, and there's a schoolhouse where Mary had a little lamb followed her to school. The end of the school year is difficult for even the most seasoned teacher. And today I'm going to go over a few techniques that you can use to hopefully make it a little bit easier. The first thing is make it easier on yourself. You are important. Do everything you can to make your life easier. I recommend that you keep hydrated. Try to get plenty of sleep. Try to leave school at school as much as possible. It's very important that you exercise or do something that you really enjoy, just to get the kids out of your mind for a brief amount of time. The students will act up. The second suggestion I have for you is the following. Take your students as much as you can outside. As science teachers, we're very lucky because we can conduct our lessons outside. Have the students go outside and observe nature. This is a great chance for them to go out, look at the birds, diagram a tree. Have them take their cell phones and take pictures. Have one student be the photographer, one student sketch, and one student write about it, and then swap off and do it as a class presentation. Another lab you can do is have bike races. But instead of going who can go the fastest, have students see who can go the slowest in their bike before falling off. This will review Sir Isaac Newton's laws. Another lab you can do, and I'll link it below, is have the students go out and dig for earthworms. Again, all of these are next to no money, and the students will enjoy them. Also have them make homemade kites. We'll take a day in the classroom to make the kites, another day to fly them. The third thing is middle school students have a tremendous amount of energy. I never tell my students this at the beginning of the year, but there's certain ways that you can help to keep them under control. For the more challenging student, what I do with the grading is the following. And please don't think I'm a bad teacher for saying this, but I find it has worked for me in the past. First quarter, you flunk them. Second quarter, you pass them. Third quarter, you flunk them. That gives you fourth quarter. That gives you a chance to keep them in line. Nowadays, most school systems will not allow you to give below 55. What I do with the students is fourth quarter, and I don't tell them this, but I give them a final exam. They know the final exam's coming, and what I don't tell them is if they pass it with a 60, I pass them for the year. I try very hard to make the final exam as fair as I can make it for the students. I go through past tests. They're allowed to use any notes they want to bring. They use their folder that they've been working on all year, but they only have 1 hour to finish the exam. If their special ed student needs more time, fine, I give them more time. It's really not a deal breaker with me one way or the other. If they pull a 60 on it, I will pass them. Another thing you can do, which is important, is if you decide to, or if you're already on Teachers Pay Teachers, go see a senior teacher who's retiring or somebody who's leaving. A lot of times they will just give you your lesson plans, and you can give them credit, but you can use them and you can type them up on Teachers Pay Teachers. This is a huge resource. I know in my school, a lot of teachers who retire have just had it with it, and they'll just hand you their resources, and they're just happy not to be in the classroom again. Another thing you can do is, if you are teaching in the same classroom next year, what I strongly recommend is the following. If you're a chemistry teacher, or even if you are an 8th grade science teachers, go through and throw out, well, dispose of correctly any chemicals you may have in your storage room. Get everything lined up. Clean your classroom. Put up your bulletin boards for next year. Don't wait until the end of the summer to put them up. Put up all your bulletin boards. Put up new construction paper if that's the way you decorate your classroom. and put up all your bulletin boards for the beginning of the year. Put newspapers or anything you can to prevent the sun from fading out the posters. Why come back earlier in the fall when you can get this done now? Another thing I do is I get everything ready for the first day of school. When I come into school the first day of school, or the day before we require it, basically everything is ready to go. So if you're teaching the same thing, get everything ready. Work, work, work. If you keep yourself busy, you'll find that things will go a lot easier. If you're going to be teaching in another grade or in another school, start to get ready for next year. Go see the teachers in that grade. They'll be, again, usually they're more than happy to give you any lesson plans, get the books, start to prepare for next year. Another thing that I recommend is, although it's tempting, try not to count down too early. If you look on the calendar and say, oh my goodness, I have 20 more days, 19 days. I don't count down really the days until I'm down to 10. Once you get down to 10 days, you can really start to wind down. Remember, the end of the school year is challenging for everybody. I really think it was better in the old days before we had AC, because the students used to get so hot, they would just sit there and sweat and they would leave you alone. If you have any suggestions or anything that I could help you with, please leave it in the comments below. You will make it. Stay positive. School year's not over. And as I said at the beginning of the tape, this is the Little Red Schoolhouse. When the lamb came, the kids totally fell apart. So kids have been misbehaving in the spring since, well, I know the documentation here is 1798. So you will get through it. Stay positive. Take care of yourself. And God bless you. Nobody on the outside understands how difficult it is for teachers at the end of the school year. Thank you for viewing and have a wonderful summer vacation.